Former Finance Minister Malusi Gigaba's wife Norma appeared in court at the Hatfield Magistrate's Court this morning after spending Friday night behind bars for allegedly assaulting her husband and destroying a vehicle worth more than 3 million rand. To get more on this matter, we cross live to our reporter Mbali Thethani, who's covering that story for us. Mbali, a very short appearance from Norma Gigaba this morning and really a brief moment in and out of court. What came out of it?
Well, of course, it was really a brief court appearance here at the Hatfield Magistrate's Court. Of course, Norma Gigaba was appearing following her arrest on Friday in connection with the damage to property of that G-Wagon. Of course, we know that she did receive urgent bail on Saturday, but she was making her formal appearance here this morning. And basically what came out of court, is that this matter has now been postponed for further investigation on to the 14th of September. We do know that prior to this appearance in court, she was facing charges of malicious damage to property as well as the issue around assault. It seems as if the charge for assault has now been dropped. We do know that she's only facing the charge for malicious damage to property.
Now, the matter about the hawks was also asked by reporters speaking to her lawyer. And the lawyer, Victor Nkhwashu, was saying that this is a matter that's beyond and outside of their perimeter and knowledge. How much do we know about that other second part of this case?
Well, we don't know much specifically around that court. All we know that following that arrest that we saw on Saturday, we saw this information coming out saying that, well, there was a threat on the life of Malusi Gigaba, and this report comes from as early as June. But I'm just going to try and bring in the lawyer much later on. I see that he's also busy with another broadcaster there. But that issue is something that came out as early as in June this year. So there is that threat on his life, but not much information has been given to us, even when we posed this question to her attorney. But I must say that, when it comes to this issue, we know that Victor Nkhwashu is one of her lawyers, but we also saw, legal heavyweights like Advocate Dalimpofu as well as Tembeka Ncukaitobi. They've been roped in to also try and deal with this matter, because we know that there is that issue around the hawks and Paul. But also looking at this entire issue around Norma Gigaba and her arrest, which we saw on Friday. We spoke to the lawyer as well. They're just telling us about the state in which she's in. We're told that she has been really traumatized and, spending a night in jail, especially in winter, because we know that if you get arrested on a Friday, the likelihood of you receiving bail is quite slim. Chances of you receiving bail will be on a Monday, but we saw her subsequently applying for that urgent bail on Friday, and she was subsequently released then on Saturday after spending a night behind bars.
As you speak about the senior counsels, of course, speaking about Advocate Dalimpofu and Ncukaitobi, we heard Victor Nkhwashu saying that when it comes to the manner in which the arrest happened with the hawks, saying that a warrant of arrest was issued, it didn't need to be issued because they know where she lives and so forth. As we explore those details around how she was arrested and what is allowed and what isn't allowed, what comes out as Victor Nkhwashu speaks about it?
These are issues that her attorney has raised, and we know that this case has now been redirected to the Pretoria Regional Court, and this is something that will be dealt there. And this is an application that will also bring before that court, saying that, well, where she lives, was it really necessary to go and attend to this matter in this way? So this is something that her legal team is dealing with, and this is why they've also also brought in these legal heavyweights to come and, deal with the issues at hand. When you look at the various charges, especially that one charge she's facing, as well as also trying to deal with the issue around the Hawks. We've seen a number of criticism when it comes to the Hawks in terms of how they've also been dealing with this matter. So this is something that is also quite central when you look at this court case. But I'm just going to step outside of shot for you and just to show you some of her legal team. We can see there Advocate Dalimpofu there, as well as Tembeka Ngukaitobi, who's also part of her legal team. So this is something that she has tried to rope in more lawyers and more attorneys to try and help her navigate this whole issue. We know that the issue, we've seen these reports, even on Sunday reports in Paul, saying that while we are dealing with this malicious damage to property issue, it also seems as if it is an issue of basically marital problems. Some reports have said that there are issues around, just basically how things have been going on in their home. So this is something that, it has been in the spotlight for quite some time now. So this is something that we can see now developing throughout these various reports which we continue to see there. But we'll try and rope in her lawyer once more, Victor Nkhwashu here. Sir, when you look at the issues here at play, how you have spoken about her state, how is Norma Gigaba dealing with this whole issue?
Well, emotionally, after having spent a night in the cold cell during winter in the midst of COVID, it is very traumatic for her, and it will be traumatic for anyone else. However, she has pulled herself together and managed to come and appear in court.
We have seen on the charge sheet the issues around the issue of assault. We know that she was facing charges of malicious damage to property and assault. We have now seen that the assault charge has now been removed.
We cannot comment on that. That's the decision of the NPA as to what charges she should face. What we have been told is that she has charge of malicious injury to property, and she will also face a charge of criminal injury. That is a decision that is taken by the NPA. As soon as they are ready, they will give us the charge sheet and the docket.
The malicious damage to property charge, we've seen these visuals circulating on social media. Can you talk to some of these visuals which we have seen on social media? Does it relate exactly to these visuals which have been making the rounds?
I cannot comment on that because I have not seen the contents of the docket. So I don't know what vehicle is alleged to have been damaged. Whether it's a vehicle or a bicycle or a television, I am not certain at this stage because we have not been furnished with the copies of the docket.
And when it comes to the matter of the Hawks, you have expressed how it should have not been dealt in this manner. You know that, it has been circulating as well in the media where people have criticized the Hawks in the manner of how this has been handled by them. Just your concern in that regard.
Well, we know that the Hawks are supposed to deal with matters of national interest, especially crimes which are known to be priority crimes, and hence they are called the Directorate of Priority Crimes Investigations. So that is crimes more like crimes against the state or more serious organized crime, and one has to wonder why a charge of malicious injury to property and criminal injury, which as you can see as she has appeared in the district court, would have needed the attention of the Hawks. However, that decision is not for us to make. The Hawks will have to answer on that. They're a better place to answer that question.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
That is, of course, Victor Nkhwashu. They're just giving us more information when it comes to issues around the charges that Norma Gigaba is facing. Another issue that was at play here was the issues around who actually owns this Mercedes-Benz G-Wagon, which is, of course, at the center of this case. And essentially, Nkhwashu couldn't really confirm to us if it is indeed owned by either Malusi Gigaba or even his friends. There are reports that it is owned by a trade unionist, and there are new reports as well that actually, in fact, it is the vehicle of the former Minister Malusi Gigaba.
Mbali, thanks. Let's leave it there for now. Of course, we will continue to bring you the very latest news making headlines around this matter. And of course, it has since been postponed to the 14th of September.